Now, folks, in all of Japan, Kobe is one of the most underrated, underappreciated cities you'll find. It's just a 15-minute train ride by Shinkansen from Osaka. And when we got off the train yesterday, practically no one else got off the train but us. So it's such a pleasant difference from Kyoto and Osaka and Tokyo that are so overrun with tourists that to come here and have so few. But what you got here, you've got the port over here, which offers daytime cruises, night cruises, dinner cruises if you want. You have the Kobe Earthquake Museum, which memorializes the Great Hanshin earthquake of 1995. You've got the Hyogo Prefectural Museum of Art, which is a world-class art museum. Over here to my right is the Kobe Maritime Museum, documenting the history of Kobe as a port city. Over here you got the port tower, observation tower, and beyond that you have also the ropeway up on top of Mount Roko. There's shopping, there's restaurants, great hotels and museums. It's just a wonderful, wonderful place to come to.
And be sure to stick around as we take you on a tour of the most luxurious hotel in Kobe. We suggest starting off your visit to Kobe at the Nunobiki Herb Gardens and Ropeway. Of course, you can walk from the bottom, but we always take the swift ropeway to the top of Mount Roko. Along the way, you'll get a bird's eye view of Nunobiki Falls. At the summit, there's an alpine-style village to greet you, and of course, an exceptional view of Kobe and Osaka Bay. The night view is considered one of the top 3 night views in Japan. While at the top, you can visit the museum that showcases herbs and how their essential oils are harvested and processed. Of course, there's a gift shop and cafe up top, along with plenty of outdoor seating on a beautiful day. Now, if you're in great shape, you may just want to walk all the way down the mountain, passing through a dozen herb gardens, stopping along the way at the Glass House Restaurant and Terrace Veranda, taking in some wonderful views of the bay. However, we will stick to the ropeway and just enjoy the view from up on high. After coming off the mountain, it's time to explore Kobe's amazing waterfront. We start off visiting Mosaic, a mixed-use development overlooking the water, populated with all kinds of shops and restaurants. Here you'll find everything from sushi to pizza to curry. We settled into the quiet Bistro Gourmet on the backside for a delicious meal, including braised beef and curry. It was delicious and piping hot. At Mosaic, you'll even find Ultraman and Totoro represented here. At the end of the waterfront, anchored by a large Ferris wheel, you'll find the Anpan Children's Museum, featuring Japan's longest-lived and most lovable children's character, Anpan Man. It's more of an Instagram spot and shopping arcade than museum, but still fun for everyone, including me. And if you haven't completed your shopping, just step across the street to Umiye Mall, which is many times larger, offering their popular retailer Uniqlo and its sister store, GU.
After a busy day of exploring around Kobe, we've come back to our hotel, ready for the evening to end. And one of our favorite things to do is to go to the grocery store. We skip the high-end, not always, but we sometimes skip the high-end restaurants and food stalls and whatnot.
Yes.
Often we do.
Yes,
yeah.
we often do.
We often do. Okay,
we often do. Because ice cream is much more important.
Ice cream rules.
Holler.
So this is our appetizer.
This is supper.
Supper. Okay, this is our full dinner. Okay,
This is it.
As they say in Japan, itadakimasu. So itadakimasu. Oh, you've already started.
Yeah, I did. While you were setting up. It's delicious.
Great.
Conclude your day back at the wide veranda of Mosaic, overlooking the waterfront as the various dinner cruise boats come and go. And if you time it right, you may be able to enjoy a free water fountain show at the nearby Notre Dame wedding venue. Start your next day by visiting the iconic symbol of Kobe, the Kobe Port Tower. You'll take the elevator to the 350-foot top, where you'll have a commanding view in all directions of Kobe's port, Osaka Bay, and the Roko Mountains to the north. There are outdoor and indoor viewing platforms, so you can enjoy it in any weather. The tower was extensively renovated and just reopened in April of 24, and it includes some really amazing surprises inside. As you descend the upper levels, you walk through several interactive rooms, similar to those you will find in Tokyo's famous Team Lab Borderless, only without the crowds. Of course, there is a cafe and gift shop as well as photo ops aplenty. But don't just visit the tower once. Make sure you come back again in the evening for a totally different perspective. The lights below will become your very own private light show that will amaze you and your friends back home.
All right, now we have just sat down outside the Moore House, built in the late 1800s here in the Kitano Cho neighborhood of Kobe. Kobe was one of the early ports to open up to the Western world, and as a result, a lot of Westerners came here, businessmen, built homes very reminiscent of the style you see behind us, very Victorian architecture. So it's somewhat unique in Japan. You feel like you're almost in Europe, actually, but you're in Kobe.
The neighborhood is located a very short walk from the Nunobiki Ropeway, although it is slightly uphill. But once you're there, you're greeted by tree-lined streets designed for pedestrians, and of course they are lined with shops and restaurants as well as plenty of outdoor parks and verandas. Take in the architecture and stop in to one of the numerous house museums. Several of them are free of charge, and this is definitely a neighborhood unique to Kobe.
We just took the ropeway from down below at the Shin Osaka station here in Kobe up to the top up here at Roko Mountain. We're in this beautiful herb gardens with a fantastic view overlooking the city, and we want to stop for a word of the day. We like to do this now and then, and Josephine, having grown up in Japan, she has a better understanding of the language than I do. So, honey, what would be a good word for today?
Doko desu ka means where is this thing, doko desu ka. So
Okay.
you could put any word to that.
Any word to that. Okay, so an important one is, where is the restroom? Everybody needs to know that. It's universal.
Yeah,
so you say,
toire wa doko desu ka.
Toire wa doko desu ka?
Yeah, or if
I
you
say,
needed,
oterai wa doko desu ka?
otera is a better
Doko desu, that's a
word.
good word to use.
Yeah.
So, doko desu ka
Doko
is
desu
the
ka
word of the
is
day.
the phrase of the day.
Phrase of the day. Okay. Well, that's it for today's word of the day from the beautiful top up here on Roko Mountain overlooking Kobe.
Next up is the Kobe Maritime Museum with its indistinguishable steel lattice framework intended to inspire images of sailing ships of yore. Located at the waterfront, this is a high-quality museum documenting the history of Kobe's port, including how it recovered from the Great Hanshin earthquake. The museum features numerous ship's models from the ages and even offers a simulator where you can try your hand as a ship's captain navigating the harbor. Included in the ticket price is the Kawasaki exhibition. Kawasaki Heavy Industries is the sponsor of the museum, and this exhibit walks you through the history of this Japanese manufacturing behemoth, describing its involvement in everything from ships to helicopters, trains, and personal watercraft. Of course, one cannot mention Kawasaki without mentioning motorcycles, of which there are plenty.
Now, in January of 1995, Kobe was struck by what is now known as the Great Hanshin earthquake. It was a major event. Over 200,000 structures destroyed, over 5,000 lives lost. Josephine's mother and father were living here at the time, actually, and Dad was getting ready to go to work at 5:46 a.m. when the earthquake struck. Fortunately, they survived, but it was a major event here that is memorialized by where I'm standing right now. Now, this is what we simply refer to as the Earthquake Museum. It's actually called the Great Hanshin Awaji Earthquake Memorial, Disaster Reduction and Human Renovation Institution. It's definitely something you should come see if you're in the area. I'm limited as to what video and photos I can take on the interior, but it's quite an amazing place.
There are 2 theaters and a reproduction of what the streets looked like after the earthquake. There are many exhibits of artifacts and history of the city's recovery. And back at the waterfront is the Earthquake Memorial Park, which has remained untouched since the earthquake as a visual reminder of the destruction. Now on a lighter note, we're visiting the Motomachi Shopping Street, downtown Kobe. Josephine knows it well as it was a popular hangout for her and her friends growing up.
Now, most every large town or city in Japan has a neighborhood shopping district. What they are, they're literally like indoor-outdoor malls almost in the U.S., but they're collectively owned by shopkeepers and people who live here in the immediate area, so it's unique. You don't see many large chain stores. They're all individually owned, unique. Restaurants, street food, groceries, clothing stores, electronic stores, everything you can imagine.
Sometimes there are hotels, and you may even spot a dinosaur or two lurking about. Some streets can stretch for more than a mile, and if you venture down one of the many side alleys, you'll come into the world of Kobe's Chinatown. Its history goes back to the days when Kobe used to only trade with China before opening up to the west. As Chinese mariners came ashore, they brought their culture with them, It's a vibrant neighborhood with a totally different feel, both in look and food. There are countless street food vendors and shops offering items not found elsewhere.
Okay, I'm not exactly sure. I know it's strawberries and cherry or grape. I think it's candied. Yeah, it's hard. Turns out it's delicious. Strawberries, it's candied strawberries. Thought it was gonna be really hard, maybe spicy. I think there's a grape in there too, but it is delicious. Now, once I'm finished, the challenge is, what do you do with your trash? Because everywhere around here, there's very few trash cans. But anyway, we'll figure that out later.
If you're enjoying this video, we kindly ask you to subscribe and like the channel. We're trying hard to grow it and help you in your trip planning, so it's important that we hear from you.
Now, when you're in Japan and you're touring around the temples and shrines and that sort of thing, you are going to be impressed with the woodworking and craftsmanship of the Japanese. It's simply amazing. This museum highlights that in 7 different galleries on 3 different floors of exhibitions. There's some hands-on opportunities to try to fit pieces together. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, and how they do it is beyond me.
In our Kanazawa video, I highlighted the incredible workmanship of Kanazawa Castle. Well, in this museum, you can get hands-on with it to better understand the techniques used by Japanese master craftsmen. Though the museum is just a few minutes east of Suite Kobe Station, it is off the beaten path and provides a quiet place to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city while taking in the warm glow of the wooden interior. Afterwards, you can enjoy a cool drink or snack in the museum's small garden cafe. A visit to the Takanaka Museum will enhance your appreciation of all the fine craftsmanship you'll see during your visit to Japan, so be sure to put it on your to-do list. So where to stay in Kobe? There are many options, and we prefer staying down by the waterfront, and there's no finer place in town than the Hotel La Suite Kobe Harborland. This is recognized as one of the small luxury hotels of the world, and it shows. The staff is incredibly attentive, and the accommodations are sumptuous. Regardless of which room you select, you'll be treated to exceptionally comfortable bedding and seating areas, along with luxurious baths for relaxing after a busy day of touring. All rooms and suites come with something not often found in Japanese hotels, and that is a balcony from which you can take in the sights of Kobe's Harborland. Each guest suite has large bathrooms appointed with every personal item you may need. They feature separate water closets and oversized walk-in showers with deep soaking tubs, which are fantastic after a full day exploring the town. Some even come with their own view. Or perhaps you'll wind down your day with a massage at the luxurious La Cherie Spa. There's a high-end restaurant that offers afternoon tea and a full-service menu in the evening, as well as an outdoor seating area where you can order from the bar. However, the highlight for us is what comes in the morning. With a knock on the door at the appointed time, staff will enter the room bringing your made-to-order breakfast in your room. We always get the Western meal option, and it is overwhelming, including 14 different breads in the bread basket. We're not exaggerating here. They make a point of highlighting the bread count and even provide a bag for you to put those you don't eat so you can take them with you throughout your day. The Hotel La Suite Harborland is unlike any other in town. Be sure to watch our upcoming video as we take you to Yokohama, the historic port city. We'll tour several ships, including a 1930s steamer, the famous Sankaien Gardens with its 400-year-old houses and buildings. We'll learn to make traditional Japanese sweets, and lastly, we'll take you to a hidden observation floor, 56 stories in the sky that few people know exists. Until next time, sayonara!